What's up, Woodworking Nation, and welcome to Armor of God Woodworks. Man, we got something pretty cool that we're doing here today. But first, I want to tell you about our new hats. So we've got the Richardson 112s, and we've redesigned them a little bit. We still got the AOG words on there. We've got the Bible verse Ephesians 6:13. Be sure to put on the full armor of God, so that in the day of testing you may be able to stand against the devil's schemes. That's what that Bible verse is, and that's what we stand for. On the other side, we've swapped out the Punisher skull for the Spartan helmet. Just, something a little bit new we wanted to try, and just see, if people like it. I know I like it. It means that the Punisher skull and the Spartan helmet mean a lot to us. And so, if you want one, hit me up, come by the shop, whatever. I'll make sure you get one in your hands so you can wear it proudly around town and, give us a little bit of free advertising. That's pretty awesome, and they're cool looking hats. So what we're here to talk about today is what we've got in front of us here. So the dark wood that you see right there is antique heart pine. It came from an old house. I know where the house was. I watched the house being taken down. I actually helped take some of it down, not very much, but some of it. And I helped kind of put some of it in the barn, and got to put my hands on some of it and just see what we could do with it. So this is what we had, and these are some of the rafters that came out of the building. And so you can see how, it's just really rough, really nasty looking, and it really looks like something that should be thrown in the trash. But you bring it up here to Armor of God, and this is what you end up with. So we take that trash and turn it into something beautiful like this. How did we do it? Well, it takes a lot of TLC to be able to get one of these things done, and it's a lot of planing, sanding, joining, a lot of patience and a lot of time that we put into these things to make sure that whenever they end up in their final home, that first of all, the sentimentality of this piece represents what the lady wants it to be. We want it to be beautiful, want it to look good, and more importantly, we want to see people smile whenever we bring these things to our house and they see what we took it from and what it became. Real simple process that we've done here though, and so we've got it all put together. You can't see the seams in it, which is great. That's what we're always after. We want it to look like, it's just one piece. And so what we're going to do is we sanded it down to 220 grit, and so it's nice and slick, and it's ready for the first coat of oil. So the interesting thing about this is, there's two types of heart pine. There's new heart pine and there's antique heart pine. New heart pine has a lot of resin in it, a lot of sap, and it's got a lot of, it's kind of, it looks good, but it's really hard to finish because it doesn't really soak in where that resin heart is. But this antique heart pine, it's got a natural red color to it. And so whenever we put a little bit of oil on it, it's going to darken it up, and it's going to turn this, this thing is going to look beautiful. Now these two pieces right here in the middle, they had a little bit more of the resin sap in it, so they're going to be a little more yellowish whenever we put our finish on there. But don't worry about it. We really want that. That's why we put those pieces in the center, because we want to be able to see that, and we want it to pop out right in the middle of this. This is going on an island, and so I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So we got a couple steps we got to make whenever we're doing this. And so what we've got is we've got our rags, which is nothing more than just some t-shirt material. I know you've heard me, if you've seen my videos before, whenever we're oiling, you've seen these rags that we use in their t-shirt material, and they work really good because they're pretty much lint free. So when you're doing stuff like this and you've been sanding and all that, you want to make sure that you get all the dust off of it, because there's a pile of dust on here that you can't see, and you don't really want that mixing up with your oil. It won't mess it up, but it just adds more to your next step of finishing. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just take this rag and kind of wipe over it, and I'm not worried about it being perfect, and we'll just wipe kind of in one direction just to sweep it off of here. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried about it being perfect, but you can see all the hidden dust that's in that. And if you don't get that out, it's going to be all in your oil. So you just want to make sure you get off as much of that as you can. Just kind of sweep it off. And if you don't get it all off, after we put our coat of oil on here and it sits for a while and dries, then we'll come back and sand it down to 800 grit, and we'll put more oil on it. Now with these antique pine tops, these things have been sitting in a house for a while, so this wood's pretty dang dry. It's going to soak up oil like it ain't nobody's business. So we're using a food grade mineral oil. It's just, I think I picked it up at Lowe's or something. But we want to use food grade because it's going to be on an island. And so if people are up there eating, drop something on it, it's safe to eat off of and it's not going to harm anybody. The way that you do this is you make sure you got your rag kind of bunched up where it can absorb really good. You don't want it just flailing all over the place. You want it really bunched up like right here so you got some control. And you basically just take the oil and you pour it right on there. And it's going to take a lot of it, so we're going to go ahead and fill this baby up. It's probably going to take a little bit more than that, but we'll start here and see what happens. Don't be afraid of it. Go ahead and get your rag all in there. Make sure you wear gloves when you're doing this because this oil, it's a really good material, and it's kind of hard to wash off. And it's better if you just go ahead and put on gloves, and you don't have to worry about that. Now we won't be sealing the bottom of it. I want this top to be able to continue to breathe. And if you seal it all the way around, you run the risk of this thing splitting or something, and we don't want that to happen. So we're going to leave the bottom just, it's not going to have any finish on it, but we want to make sure we catch these sides really well because people are going to be leaning up against these, and you want your finish to be really good on these sides just to protect it and everything. And this is a protective finish. It'll create a hard, kind of a hard coating on it, and it'll help protect all of this wood. And you want to make sure, the reason you really want to make sure that you get plenty of it on there and you make sure that it's absorbed all the way through is because if somebody spills red Kool-Aid on this thing, that's, if it soaks into that wood, you'll never get it out of there. So you just want to make sure that whenever you put this oil on here, that you put it on there until it quits absorbing it, because you want it all the way down to the core of this wood, so that if somebody does spill red Kool-Aid on there, or sweet tea, or whatever, it'll come out. And it really helps with, somebody's going to come up there and set a cup on it. And I've got Hart Pine countertops in my house, and people come in there and set cups, and they sweat. And then, you don't have to worry about it leaving a ring on the top if you've got the right amount of oil on it. You always want to take your time. And if it takes more oil than you anticipated, make sure that you put it on there, because the worst thing that can happen is for somebody to call you and say, hey man, my countertop's got a stain in it, how do I get it out? Well, you don't, you enjoy it. So just make sure that you do your best all the time. And I made plenty of mistakes doing this stuff, and most of it, fortunately, was on my own stuff. And so I kind of, I learned on my own stuff what not to do, so I wouldn't do it with somebody else's. But just be very patient with this stuff. And you can notice, like, as you're putting it on there, you'll see it start drying out on certain parts of this wood. And that means it's absorbing like really fast. Like right here on these yellow parts, it doesn't absorb very fast because there's a lot of resin in there, and it's kind of got to work its way down there. Sometimes it won't absorb at all. But once you are putting it on there and you see a dry spot, go back and wipe it again. That means that it's soaking it in. And it's going to take a good bit of this stuff. And it's probably going to be an all-day event doing this. So you let it sit for a while, come back, wipe off what didn't soak in. That means that part's good. And then start over. You start oiling it again. And whenever it quits absorbing, and this one's absorbing so fast that, I could probably just keep on going. But I'm going to probably get this thing set good, let it sit here for a little bit, come back and wipe it off. And then we'll be ready to send this off. This is actually going kind of to, I guess that'd be about northwest Georgia, somewhere around in there. So we're going to take it there this weekend and get it delivered and get it fastened down to the island. And we might do a video whenever we get there. But anyways, this is antique Hart Pine, and I just kind of wanted you to see the process of how it goes from an absolute piece of trash to something beautiful that is usable. It will have a little bit of a sheen on it. The mineral oil we use is kind of a satin, so it will have a little bit of a sheen to it, but not a whole lot. And just make sure you keep coating it. You can see the reflection right here where my hand is and where the light is and everything, and you can tell that it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, so it's going to be absolutely beautiful. But like I said, whenever you're doing these things, take your time and make sure that if it's not something you'd be proud to have in your house, don't send it out there to put in somebody else's house. But that's how you oil an antique heart pine top. Very simple to do. Nothing to it really. Just pour the oil on it, start wiping it. So we'll keep putting this on here throughout the day. And if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If you need a top like this, give me a call. Look me up on Facebook at Lumberjack, and you can look me up on Instagram at lumberjack_AOG. Hope y'all have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next one.